Hello, my lovelies. Welcome, 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 welcome to my channel, Divine Nudges, where today we're going to be doing a collective reading. Collective, this deck of cards that I have here is huge and very difficult for me to shuffle. So I'm just going to, figure it out, see where I'm drawn. I'm being drawn to this card here immediately. The coffee card. Yum, 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 yum. Considering that a lot of us or coffee drinkers tend to drink coffee to wake up in the morning and to get their morning started, to get that caffeine boost. This card very much resonates with being awakened to something, starting to become aware of something, some sort of a realization. It could be an idea, because this is very much the Ace of Pentacle cards as well in the regular tarot. So it could be something tangible, some sort of an idea or some sort of a manifestation. Okay, these three stars are kind of drawing me in as well. So there could be something coming to you in threes. What's so interesting? I literally just finished having a conversation with someone where, the person was having a hard time trying to decide a path that she's been considering. She's been considering, but she's not sure if it's the right path for her. And I was telling her that for me, and I asked her, I said, when you ask the divine, when you pray to the divine for clarity, how do you know that the divine has responded? And, she said that she refers to her scriptures and, reading her Bible, but she's afraid that, she may kind of like be looking for scriptures to validate, what she wants. So she's still not sure that in her use of scriptures that she's not kind of driving it in the way that she would want it to go. So I said to her, well, I'll share with you what I do. And what I do is I look for signs and synchronicities, and I'm sure most of you watching right now do the same thing. But I told her, I said, when I see something or hear something one time, I may or may not brush it off depending on whether or not it resonates with me. But when I hear it a second time, now the universe and the divine have my attention, right? Now my head is on a swivel. I'm looking around and I am just waiting for the third sign, because I feel, to me, the universe speaks to me in threes. And once I am aligned, because to me, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicities, and synchronicities to me is alignment. Once a message is communicated to me thrice, three times, I am going to take action on it, because I know that is a clear communication from the universe. So I feel like someone here today may have needed to hear that. Some of you may be considering something, weighing something, and be having like an internal struggle and being at odds with yourself about which direction to move forward in. Okay, so just remember that the universe, the divine, is always supporting us and guiding us, and the universe definitely has a way of communicating to us in that guidance, and its delivery of that guidance. Okay, so for some of you, maybe you've heard something, there's been a pattern of signs and synchronicities, and you may still be doubting it, but that would be a clear communication from the universe. Okay, so alrighty, let's get to it. Let's move on with the reading and see what is next. I'm going to pull from the regular tarot deck now to see what other messages may be coming through for you. I just saw 444 on my timer. So that's another, that's a synchronicity right there. For some of you, you may be seeing 444 a lot recently when you're mulling something over, taking something into consideration and weighing out your options. So for some of you, the 444 is going to be one of your signs, one of your synchronicities. All righty. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So some of you are really up in your heads right now. We have three swords that just jumped out together. We have the Page of Swords, which is very much the research analyst, the data analyst. I know this is a card of spying, but it's a card of observing and watching, right? So some of you may be out there doing your research, doing your homework, and really getting enough information and education on something to make a clear decision, a level headed decision where it's mind over matter, right? Um, but then here we have the Seven of Swords, which is the card of the trickster and the, dishonesty and even the thief. So, some of you may be in a space where if you rely a little too much on your logic, it may fool you. Okay. You may need to let your intuition lead you just a bit. So if you're looking at your situation from a completely logical, intellectual, and mental standpoint, that may be a little bit imbalanced, right? If you think about, even in the tarot deck, you have the sword suit, the pentacles, the cups, the wands, right? And so all of those elements combined are, work together to make things happen. If we're just in one element, we're likely imbalanced, okay? So if you're being overly pensive, like overly logical about something, you may be creating some imbalance. But I am getting that you are very intelligent, you are very capable of taking the information that you find from your research, absorbing it, and making really good logical decisions based on it. That is already your strong suit. Okay. But let's keep going here and see what else, what other messages come through. What other messages do we have here? All right, we have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of you may be looking at information or may have recently come across some sort of research on what not to do or what may work against your abundance, or some of you may be concerned. Maybe in your research, you're finding that you need to make some sort of a financial investment, and you feel like your finances are being drained. Okay, because this is a card of abundance here. So I'm sensing that some of you are afraid as well that um, something may not pan out, that it may work against your finances instead of for your finances, or that initial investment is scary and it might be giving you pause. Yeah, here we have the Lovers card. Here we have the Lovers card. And it's kind of like it came out like this. So this is crossing the situation. Because for a lot of you, you feel like you have a very big decision to make right now. You may even feel like you're at a crossroads. And with this Lovers card here, what I'm sensing is that where you're usually mind over matter, right? There may be a lesson embedded here where you need to more so trust your heart a little bit more than your mind. And I'm going to tell you why, my loves. Your heart is very much connected to your intuition, and your intuition is very much that pipeline, that line of communication between you and the divine, you and your spirit tribe, and you and the universe. There's going to be times where your logic does not alert you to deceit, to dishonesty, or to incoming danger. Your logic is not going to be able to do that for you, but your intuition will. Okay, so as you're deciding on your next steps, as you're deciding on which path to go down next, right? Because I'm sensing there are some life changing things. You're going to have to rely on your intuition to alert you of dangers that may be coming down the line that you aren't necessarily aware of just by doing research. Okay, just by looking at the data. See, a lot of people say numbers don't lie. I disagree with that. I feel that numbers can lie by omission. In other words, I have a background in business management, and I've, worked with reporting. And oftentimes during my career, I've looked at a report and I've shared it with, other managers, and it paints a picture. And I say, because I'm, as a manager, I'm kind of on the front lines, and I'm like, oh, that's not accurate. That's not the whole story. So I'll go and print out a different report with a little slightly different variation in the data that now combined with the previous report paints a more complete picture. So for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Numbers don't lie, not even by omission. I I I would debate that. I would absolutely debate that, because a lot of times you need multiple data sets in order to really get a full picture of what's going on. So it really just depends on your understanding of data and numbers, okay? And it really just depends on whether you have enough experience to know that just looking at one data set may not be enough to look at the full picture, right? Well, here's where your intuition comes in, because your intuition is also tied in, being tied into the divine and the universe. It's also tied into the Akashic records, right? Which is the repository of all data that has ever and will ever exist. Okay. And so that's why your intuition is a very strong and leading force. Okay. So part of your challenges right now, collective, may be to really rely on that line of communication between you and the universe, especially when making really big decisions that are going to impact your life. Spirit, what is this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, please? What is this 10 of Pentacles? Yeah, investment. Okay, so some of you may be kind of like, oh, this upfront investment, it's draining my pockets. I feel like I have to go without right now. And am I being foolish? Is this a wise decision? Could I lose out on money that really I can't afford to lose? I really need this money. I can't afford to lose it, right? This is kind of like the dialogue that some of you are kind of having in your minds right now. Some of you may have already made an investment, whether it's time, because it's not just financial, right? It's energetic as well. And you're watching and you're just like, darn, what's the payout here? I'm not seeing the payout. I'm not seeing the payout. And I've planted a lot of seeds, and I've been investing a lot into it. Well, part of this lover's card, in addition to this being your intuition, is just your payout is going to be more than just financial. It's going to be fulfillment, and it's going to be a love and a joy and a passion for what you do. Okay. So that has to be part of it, because if you don't love it, if you don't have a passion for it, that's where your money or your investment, whether it's financial or energetic, that's where you won't see a return on your investment. That's where it will go to waste if you decide, in a few months or a year from now, you know what, I actually don't love this. Everything, all of your time and effort gone into it will have gone to waste. So, as you're mulling things over, as you're really considering your investment, really consider what it is that you have to gain from the situation. Is it more than financial? Is it your happiness? Is it your peace? Is it fulfillment? Is it joy? What will this mean for you and your family? Will you have more time for you and your family? To build, here we have the strength card that was just kind of poking out, right? So your spiritual fortitude as well. Like, is this a soul fulfilling decision? Is this a soul fulfilling path that you're going on? Okay. Because I am getting that it is going to take a lot of spiritual strength and patience. Okay, so with the Seven of Pentacles here, which is a card of patience and waiting, the Strength card is very much, it's a test of it could be a test of the will, but it could also be really, it's a card of having to be gentle with yourself. It's a card of trusting the process, and it's a card of patience as well. Here we have the Chariot at the bottom of the deck. So willpower and determination, which is going to really go hand in hand with this strength card. Because a lot of times it's our spiritual fortitude that carries us through during times of feeling unmotivated or discouraged, right? So your willpower, your determination, all of that is going to really be required. But I really see here where there's a lot of divine support, a lot of universal support that's showing up on the table here on the cards. And the Chariot card is a card of moving, leaving the undesired behind and moving towards the desired, right? So there's going to be courage needed and required in order for you to do that. So be sure that you're not talking yourself out of it. You're not convincing yourself of failure before you even have the chance to succeed. Okay. This really is a time right now, my loves, of um with the, now we're in the age of Aquarius. This really is a time where I feel like on a collective level, there is this undercurrent and overcurrent of energy of doing things differently, of not doing things the way that we've always done it. But this is a very scary place to be, because that requires walking, uncharted territories for us. There are others who have already come before us. Okay. And so, be careful of information overload. Be careful, practice discernment when you're learning from others and when you're observing and watching others, right? What you're going to find is that, not cutting corners, really taking the time to understand and grow through something is going to lead to the biggest payout. If you're not patient with the process, again, you may quit before you've even given yourself a chance to succeed, right? But going back to the collective, the under and the over current right now, and this shift into the age of Aquarius, there's a lot of testing that's going on. And I don't mean this in the way where it's just like, I'm tired of the testing and I'm tired. Look at this. We have the Queen of Swords that's at the bottom of the deck. Ooh, and the Two of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. I love it. Look at these. Look at all these major arcanas. Here we have the Tower. Okay. So, yeah, we're talking about destiny, right? With this Wheel of Fortune. And we're talking about this paradigm shift right now. Okay, a lot of you are going to find collaborators along your path. So definitely, like, look, we have the Lovers and the Two of Swords here. So these are soul contracts and soul agreements that really are meant for you to come together and to help you along on this journey. And with these people, because you see how she has her back towards the King of Swords. I'm not looking at that as they're being at odds with each other. What I'm sensing more so is that these are two people who are complete by themselves. And in coming together, they form a very complementary union. Okay, so this isn't, oh, I need you to make me whole, Queen of Swords. And this isn't, oh, I need you to make me whole too, King of Swords. No, these are two people that are very competent, very capable, and have a lot to bring to the table. I'm sorry, I know I'm like jumping all over the place, but it's coming at me really fast because I was talking about the age of Aquarius and the testing, right? So we're at a point right now, collective, where just like anything else, if you get a certificate, listen, you graduate from high school, you have final exams, you're tested. You go into college, sometimes you have entrance exams. If you have like a real estate license or any other type of licensure, you're going to have to test your way into pretty much aptitude. Your aptitude for the vocation is going to be tested, right? So we're getting tested to see if we're really cut out for this. And so, as above, so below, the same way in the physical reality we get tested, we also get tested in the spiritual realm as well. What is our spiritual aptitude? I apologize for the shaking. What is our spiritual aptitude for this path that we're getting ready to go down, this endeavor that we're getting ready to take on? Because as I was saying earlier, if you're just going to quit, right, then technically you're not ready, right? Because it doesn't come easy. If you have tested in life, then you know you have to study, you have to practice. You may fail and you may have to take another exam. You may have to take a makeup exam. You may have to do some extra credit work. You know how it works in the physical realm, right? But in the spiritual world, when you're looking to change your life and when you're looking to do something big, something different, part of it is not quitting and not giving up. Let's put it back into practical terms. As I said earlier, I have, most of my professional career, I've held management roles, right? As a manager, I can tell you this. I've played the role of a hiring manager at times. And when I interviewed candidates in the past, I'm looking for signs and indications of how long is this person likely to stick around? Because I can tell you this, as a manager, it is exhausting to train someone. And even if someone comes to you with experience, each organization, each corporation, each job, each company does things slightly different than the other, where there's still a learning curve in terms of how we do things around here. There's still an adjustment period, right, for how we do things around here. So as a manager, I've had to pour into new hires in a way where it's draining because I'm giving them knowledge. Knowledge transfer is a form of energy transfer. Okay, so your life force energy goes into building people up where at a point where they can become autonomous, where they can now work on their own and become independent and not have to be micromanaged, and their hands don't have to be held. So I don't want to put my energetic resources as a manager into someone whom is just going to jump ship in a year or less, right? I want someone who's going to at least commit to me for at least 2 years or more. Otherwise, oh, the draining of my energy just isn't going to be worth it for me. So that's a very practical example of what goes on at the spiritual level as well. The universe does not want to pour its resources, those energetic and spiritual resources, into someone who may jump ship because they're not resilient and they don't have the ability to endure, right? When they could have poured it into someone who does. Okay. So it's not a test of, oh, God, I've proven that this is what I want. Have you? Have you though? It's more, it's just as much practical as it is spiritual. Okay. Um, and here we have the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. This is a very confident queen right now. So, confidence is a very, very big thing. And it's going to be a very big part of how you move forward. A certain level of, a queenly level of confidence is going to be required. The wand suit is an energetic suit. It's about power and it's about spirit. So we have a lot of energy here about willpower, about spirit. Okay. And so there's a lot of character building energy that's popping up in these messages today. Okay. Look at this. A new beginning, a new fulfilling beginning. Okay, this is love. Okay, so for some of you, you're pouring your heart and souls into something. And that's your commitment. That's your part. That's you meeting the universe halfway. Okay, but the universe is also meeting you halfway as well. Some of you are answering your calling. Okay, you're being called, you feel pulled, you feel drawn to something, and this is a rebirth. The judgment card is Pluto energy, and Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, right? And so think about what it means for someone to give birth in the physical. Again, as above, so below. It's painful. It's a very painful process. Giving birth in the physical realm is listen, it's a very painful process. You could just look into it a little bit and you'll figure it out. And if you know mothers, or some of you are mothers, you already know that. You already know that. Okay. I'm seeing some energy about conflict here. It could be inner conflict. It could be conflict with others. Okay, here we have the Page of Wands, at the bottom of the deck too. Okay, so a lot of times if you're experiencing inner conflict, mental conflict, you're going to have to have fun with it. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? So there's going to have to be this need, my loves, for you to not solely rely on your mental faculties through a process. Your mind is going to want to tell you, are you crazy? Are you nuts? Are you bananas? That's not safe. Okay. Hey, little angel, excuse me. That's not safe. What you're doing is crazy. You might be headed towards some danger, right? Your mind is going to be looking, with this Queen of Swords here, your mind is going to be looking for the red flags. It's going to be looking for where the danger is. Okay. And so it's kind of like when you meet someone who has a yellow car, right? Yellow cars aren't that common, are they? All of a sudden, you start seeing all these yellow cars because it's been brought into your awareness. So if you're just looking for the red flags, I'm focusing on this red cap here, and these red shoes, then that's all you're going to see. So there's going to be this need for you to really take a leap of faith. I don't see the full card here, but this is definitely giving me leap of faith energy. Okay. All righty, my loves. Let's see. I think I'm going to go on ahead and close out this reading by pulling an oracle card, getting this oracle message for you. Ooh. I don't know if any of you are returning viewers, but if you are, I often say that my shuffling is shameful. Okay. I don't know why. It's not my strongest suit. So, ooh, okay. All right. We have two cards that just came out. Last quarter moon, tie up loose ends. And is that Kazemi sees the sunny opportunities? Yeah. So some of you are definitely closing out a cycle right now. Some of you are closing out a cycle right now. At the bottom of the deck, we have fourth house It says here, go back to basics. So some of you may be overcomplicating something as well. So if you're starting to lose joy and passion in an endeavor, it might be because you're overcomplicating it and you need to just kind of simplify it a little bit. Okay. But I do see here where something is phasing out, something is eclipsing out with this tying up loose ends. And so when what you're going to do is be able to make space for the new opportunities, and there are opportunities that are coming your way. I'm going to go ahead and read the book for these messages. I'm going to have to, let's see here. Last quarter moon, because I don't want to cheat you out of a very meaningful message. It says it's not over till it's over. And while the climax of your current story may have already hit, my lovelies, the video cut off. Okay, so I'm back, and let me start this reading of the book over. Okay, so last quarter moon, tie up loose ends. It's not over till it's over. And while the climax of your current story may have already hit, the finale is definitely yet to come. The last quarter moon phase marks the moon's final descent through its monthly cycle. And symbolically, it's a time for us to tie up loose ends and finish what we've started. So, see this project through till the end, my loves. And, it's interesting as I was kind of getting back up and revving the engine back up to continue to record, I was thinking about that Queen and King of Swords. And there may be a King of Swords who is considering a Queen of Swords, considering investing in a Queen of Swords, and trying to determine um, whether they would be worth the risk. Okay, that's something that was kind of coming to my mind. That Queen of Swords, though, she had her eyes on that Seven of Swords. She herself is someone who's really good at assessing risk, and she is also someone who is just as invested in making wise decisions. Okay, so again, where I feel like there is some sort of a soulmate or soul contract in the air, I see where there's going to be a lot of common traits between two people. And that may be one of those. Remember at the beginning of the reading where we saw those three stars, and I'm like, okay, signs and synchronicities. That may be this almost like this one-mindedness between two people is going to be a sign that you're supposed to collaborate and come together. Okay. Because you're both going to have the same type of approach about life in general, the same time, and look at things the same way, weigh out your options the same way. There's going to be such a strong commonality that it's going to be very difficult to ignore. Okay. But anyway, going back to this, tying up, finishing what we've started. Okay. So this is a sign here for you too. If some of you have already started something and you're just like, darn, should I even bother continuing? This is a sign to finish what you started. It says, so what needs wrapping up here? And why are you avoiding it? Go the extra mile by pushing yourself to clean up your messes and make good on your word. Have that closure focused conversation. Fold the clean pile of laundry that's still sitting on your bed, or cross those last painstaking tasks off an almost finished to-do list. Do your diligence and don't let the little things linger, even if it requires some problem solving. So there are some things on your to-do list right now, right at this moment. I don't necessarily sense that you're getting ready to jump ship on something. What I'm getting is that, there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts, and they really do need to be tied up before you can get to the next step in this process. Okay. So the more you put off on tying up, because it might be like little house cleaning items, little just nuances that are easy to kind of just be like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. Well, you're being divinely nudged that if you don't get to it today, you're not really going to be able to usher in the next part of the process. Okay. And so then I think this is a C for Kazemi, and I'm going to figure that out right now, my loves, because the book is going, yes, it is. Not familiar with this one. Seize the sunny opportunities. It says, sure, the sun's immaculate and blinding rays have the ability to wash us out and hog the spotlight. But if we team up with this luminary instead of trying to compete with it, then suddenly we'll find ourselves at center stage too. We talked about collaboration. So there may be two very strong willed, competent people whom, yeah, it would be easy to look at each other as competition, but would probably more so be a force if collaborating. Okay. Anyway, it says, such is the case with a Kazemi in astrology. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. If not, please forgive me. It says, which refers to the brief period when the sun is at the same point in the zodiac as another planet. The sun's star power is on your side right now, bringing all sorts of brilliant chances to break old cycles and clear your slate. Your best qualities are being highlighted and your goals are being illuminated, offering you crystal clarity on your objectives. Seize this opportunity and capitalize on the cosmic support that you're receiving. So, again, we saw that throughout the reading with all those major arcanas. There's a lot of divine support, a lot of divine guidance being, sent your way right now, collective. Okay. If you look around the room and you see someone whom you admire or who's where you want to be, or could even seem like they may be some competition for you, you're being divinely nudged here to look for ways in which you can collaborate instead of compete. Okay. If there is a shining star around you, that is actually a good sign, because we opened the reading with talking about alignment. Okay. And being aligned. So our outer world is always a reflection, is very much a reflection of our inner world. Okay. So if you see a shining star, baby, you're in alignment with someone that is a reflection of what you have going on the inside. Okay. All right. In terms of abundance, it says here willing. I don't know if you can see that. This is a dice. It says willing. Okay. So we talked about willpower earlier, willpower and determination, but also willing things to come into fruition, right? But there's a need for you to be open and willing in terms of allowing abundance to come in right now. There's a certain level of openness that's going to be required from you at this time. In terms of love, right? Some of you are working on a passion project. It could be a relationship. Devotion. We talked about devotion. This says devoted here. Okay, so there's a level of devotion that is being required of you right now. We talked about the test earlier, as above, so below, and the universe seeking a certain level of commitment from you to know that this is really a path that you're committed to, devoted to, and you're not going to give up on, a few miles down the road. Okay, in terms of creativity, okay, it says here curious. Okay, so this is going to, and we saw that with the page of wands earlier, this path is going to require a lot of curiosity for you, because that childlike wonder is going to be, it's going to have to be stronger than your ego. And by ego, I mean it's going to have to be stronger than your fear of failure. Okay. So with this curiosity here, with your creativity, you're going to have to play with things sometimes to see what works and what doesn't work, and be fearless in your approach. Okay. In terms of strength, your strength, it says here steady. Okay. This could be your spiritual strength. This could be your physical strength, but it looks like you've been powering through and you've been steadily moving along this path. So keep that up. Slow and steady wins the race. And for your health here, it says whole. Okay. So it looks like you're in good health. And for those of you who do have some sort of health concerns, tie up those loose ends. Okay, and make your health whole. But I see here where this is a really good sign where your health is doing pretty good. Okay. Collective, I hope that you have enjoyed these messages. If you have, please like, share, comment, or subscribe. Okay. And I will talk to you soon.